Hello everyone, I am Harshal Patil and we are here to discuss the questions that we have shared with you on various platforms. So let's begin. The question is, what is the importance of preamble to the Indian Constitution? Does it have any legal significance? Okay, though straightforward static question is there, very basic question. Okay, so here the main focus is on importance of preamble to Indian Constitution and any legal significance. Okay, straightforward question. Two parts are there regarding the question. Introduction, you can write the Indian Constitution. It is the horoscope of Indian Constitution. It is the guiding light of Indian Constitution. It is the guiding star of Indian Constitution, North Star of Indian Constitution. It is the guiding light that helps the lawmakers to implement the spirit of India into the act, spirit of India in the decisions. Okay, so from that point of view, Indian preamble encompasses that all the things that are mentioned in the Indian Constitution, that encompasses the identity of Indian Constitution. So it is said that Indian Constitution is the identity card of Indian Constitution, or preamble is the identity card of the Indian Constitution. So in introduction, you can write all those things. Okay, so importance of the Indian preamble, we know that four things that Indian preamble mentions. First thing is the vision of the Constitution, what we want to achieve. Okay, so this vision of the Constitution becomes the guiding light for lawmakers. Then it is a source of authority. It always tells that we the people are the owner of this nation. We the people, whatever we are doing is, we are democracy and we the people have created this Constitution. We have given authority to everything that is happening to the country. So it ensures that it begins with we the people, so that governmental power is derived from the people. Okay, so it shows the significance of the individuals or the society or the people that have given this power to the governmental bodies. Okay, it guides the constitutional interpretation. Already told you that it is a guiding light, it is the identity card, it is the horoscope of Indian Constitution. Okay, so preamble serves as the reference point for the interpretation of ambiguous constitutional provisions. For example, in Keshwanand Bharti case, Supreme Court invoked the preamble to delineate the basic features of the Indian Constitution. At the same time, it states India's core identity, that is, India is a secular country, India is a sovereign country, India is socialist, India is secular, India is democratic, India is republic. All these things guide the India's, or it become these identities are the identities of the India. These are the identities that we want to achieve and strive for. So it is very significant. It sets the goals, it sets the ideals, it sets the targets, it gives the path for the legislature, executives, or the lawmakers. Not only lawmakers, but also to the people also. So it mentions the justice, the liberties, the equality, and all those things. Okay, so it not only give guidelines or ideals to the state, but it also gives the guidelines and ideals for citizens also. For example, the fraternity. It is the responsibility of citizens to promote fraternity among all of us. Okay, so from this point of view, the preamble is a very important document or important piece of Constitution. Legal significance, we have already seen in Keshwanand Bharti, Supreme Court confirmed that preamble is a integral to the Constitution and can be utilized for the interpreting the provisions. बेरुबार यूनियन केस में भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बताया था कि preamble is not recognized as a part of, but ये जो था लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है हमें, ठीक है, हम we have already mentioned this Keshwanand Bharti case. Okay, it is a guiding spirit for law and policies, वो भी हमने देखा है. At the same time, the other side, it is not mentioned here. We have to also mention that, however, though it is a guiding light for the lawmakers, it is not the limitation on the lawmakers also. Okay, Supreme Court can use the preamble to ensure, to understand and to put forth the ideals of Indian Constitution. However, it is also significant that it is not the limitation, legal limitation on Indian lawmakers. From that point of view, the preamble is important. Okay, so the question is, what is the basic doctrine of basic structure? How has it impacted the amendment process under Indian Constitution? Okay, so directly it is asking us about the basic structure. It is directly asking about us. It is also mentioning the amendment process. So what we can include in the introduction is the basic structure. What is basic structure doctrine? Or you can include the Keswanand Bharati, its origin, or you can also mention Article 368 where the amendment process is mentioned. Okay, so in introduction, what we can write is, the doctrine of basic structure is judicial principle that limits the power of Parliament to amend the Constitution. Okay, it asserts that when Parliament has authority to amend the Constitution, it cannot alter the basic structure or the fundamental principle. It cannot amend the heart and soul and spirit of Indian Constitution. Okay, so you can amend it, but you cannot change the spirit of this Constitution, which represents the spirit of the country. That is the basic thing that you have to you should have the clarity about. Okay, in the body you can write down the origin. We know that in Keswanand Bharati, one of the most important judgment in India's political history or judicial history, Supreme Court ruled that Parliament cannot amend the Constitution in the way that it amends the basic features or basic structure. Okay, so if you have written this, what we can do is we can mention some of the basic structures that are over the years Supreme Court has said: the sovereignty of the Constitution, democracy and rule of law, separation of power, federalism, secularism, fundamental rights. We can mention some of the basic features of basic structure doctrine and various, if possible, not necessary, एक दो cases भी आप यहाँ पर लिख सकते हो. Okay, however, what is the most important? It has a very significant impact on amendment process in India. Okay, it has, obviously we know that there is a separation of power, and Indian government is a limited government. Okay, why Indian government is a limited government? We know that it is limited by 4 things: fundamental rights, judicial review, federalism, and last is written constitution. Okay, one of the important feature that limits India's government is, or India's state is, judicial review. And through this basic structure doctrine and Keswanand Bharati ruling, it limits the parliamentary amendment. We have already seen that what this does is it removes the possibility of legislative arbitrariness and executive tyranny, the possibility of these things. It avoids the concentration of power, so it limits the power of parliamentary amendments. So Indira Gandhi versus Rajnaran case, where Supreme Court challenged the 42nd constitutional amendment to reduce the judicial review. At the same time, it preserves the constitutional identity. Okay, as we have already discussed, the most important thing is the Indian Constitution represents the fundamental spirit of this country, and that spirit cannot be altered. It is the heart and soul of this country. So Supreme Court said that you can change the Constitution, you can change the various parts of the Constitution, but you cannot alter its heart and soul, its spirit, its fundamental principle on which this country has been built by many over the years. At the same time, it offers the flexibility with constraints, that there is a flexibility in Constitution, but also there are constraints. Okay, at the same time, it ensures that judicial role in safeguarding Constitution, that judicial role about the amendment process, so that it is consistent with the constitution's ideals. Okay, in this way it has protected India's identity. So basic structure doctrine ensure that the core principles are protected. The core principles, like we have already mentioned in one of the diagram, that whether it is federalism, whether it is secularism, socialism, rule of law, all those core principles are protected through the basic structure doctrine. Okay, thank you.